Did Star Trek save the Happy Meal? Who can say? But it proved brand tie-ins couldn't hurt. I'm Victor, and straight out of the Gen experience, the little box that very few had faith in when first tested thrived in 1979 when it debuted nationally. Like our breakfast cereal boxes, we kids loved to read the comics and play every game printed on each panel surrounding the prize inside. And we're not talking golden fries. 45 years ago this week, the McDonald's Happy Meal entered our pop culture and our lexicon to begin its meteoric rise as the leader in kids' meal mega marketing machines, leaving all others in the dust. Famous for various themes, it was the toy prize we all hungered for. The first official edition had kind of a meh start, but it wouldn't be long before the Golden Arches found a golden opportunity: branded media tie-ins. And before I go any further, for any of you out there who might instantly see McDonald's in the title and just parrot the often repeated boring and meaningless comments like, "Who would go there?" or "Why would you eat there? The food is so gross," do us all a favor. Press the back button. This isn't for you. This is for all of us who, when coming home from a long trip, saw the tall red and yellow sign high above the hills beyond the highway exit that your dad was now slowing the car down to take. The beacon for a much-needed and deserved late dinner was enough to get any kid excited, and a tired dad, too. And why not? Billions and billions served can't be wrong, right? After the regional tests in a slightly different box configuration proved worthy, the still reluctant bean counters at McDonald's decided to go with a rebranded package, complete with Golden Arches handle, for the first nationwide Happy Meal release. The first theme was based on a circus wagon and came with the standard hamburger or cheeseburger option, as well as french fries, cookies, a soft drink, and, of course, a toy. Ronald and friends were there with some light reading fun and a few Cracker Jack type prizes at the bottom of the box: the McDoodler stencil, a McWrist wallet, an ID bracelet, a puzzle lock, a spinning top, or a McDonaldland character eraser. The earliest versions relied heavily on the McDonaldland characters, with standard and unmemorable activity type small prizes more than actual toys being the payoff. But that would all change. Someone needed to think out of the box for this fledgling kids meal to sustain any real success. McDonald's would quickly discover what would make everybody happy with their meal. Media tie-ins were the way to go, and the first was out of this world. In between toys or prizes that were not simply themed McDonaldland characters, brand big shots and famous franchises filled the need. Here are 12 top toy tie-ins during the first 10 years of Happy Meal. Right after coming off of a generic galactic theme, Space Raiders, McDonald's would secure a brand tie-in the day after Christmas in 1979. Would this theme secure the iconic kids menu item in history? The world may never know, but Star Trek the Motion Picture benefited from the marketing because even I, still quite young, became intrigued by the images on the box, especially the villainous alien Klingon who apparently was debuting a new look separate from that of the original show. I was interested to know more about what I saw and what I was getting inside. Was it the communicator, a ring, bracelet, double sparkly iron-on that fed my desire to know more and start a relationship with Star Trek the original series? Arriving late in my generation, I was still of age as the prime target for these mass-marketed meals with toy surprises when they debuted. As the very last Gen Xers who came after me would never know a world without a Happy Meal, their premiere in 1979 still makes them a key piece of the Gen experience. The Star Trek Happy Meal is the first one I clearly remember getting. Oh, and I did eventually see the movie. Its heavy themes were completely lost on me as a child, but it still kicked ass. Are you a fan of Playmobil like I am? They were German toy figures, simple and stylized action figures like the Fisher-Price Adventure People. Playmobil action figures could be and were anything you wanted to make them. These favorite toys of mine were a big deal when they appeared as the Happy Meal toy inside the box. This was quality, not a cheap eraser, and what a fun and delicious way to add to your collection. Playmobil partnering with McDonald's in 1982 for nationwide distribution was one of the earliest examples of a toy with some high value for any Happy Meal yet. Unfortunately, they were also the first Happy Meal toy with the dubious honor of being recalled for safety. There were some very interesting and awesome toy options in the early days of the Happy Meal. but often they were only regional releases in certain states and areas, like the Dallas Cowboys in 1980 or the Dukes of Hazzard in 1982. They only appeared in Dallas, Texas and St. Louis, Missouri, respectively. Because they were not marketed nationwide, I steered clear of them for this list. But Lego, that was all over the place, and I hadn't met a kid who wasn't thrilled with these building blocks. The choice to add Lego sets to the Happy Meal in 1984 was a big hit, along with the McNugget option added the year before. They were sets that could make a very specific design, but collecting all the individual sets was a cheap and yummy way to add to your Lego pieces and create something grand for more imaginative fun. They may not have been the Halloween pails just yet, but these beach pails with shovel were perfect for summer fun. And as 1984 was a major Olympic event, there was no better time than now to slap the Olympiad logo and other images all over your bucket for sandcastle excitement during your next beach vacation. Perhaps a little late to the game since the movie debuted in 1982, E.T. the Extraterrestrial was a blockbuster, but the E.T. posters would not arrive at McDonald's until 1985. Not separate premiums, but the actual prize for your Happy Meal itself. The staff had to remember to give out one of the 4 designs on your tray when taking your meal to the table. McDonald's and the Happy Meal had found their stride by this point. As the years would roll by, many more recognizable IPs got into the game, and each year more desirable toys would be offered. However, 1986 would see the only time that Colorforms brand joined the fun. God, I miss Colorforms, don't you? I don't know why, I thought they were the next best thing to having an actual toy. The poor kid's action figure, I guess, sticky paper dolls, and we couldn't get enough. Although the subjects were Ronald and his gang of fatty food sidekicks, this was Colorforms, and they were the giant tie-in that made the 1986 Colorform Happy Meal toy a special prize while you munched on your generic McDonaldland cookies. Hey, whatever happened to those cookies? The one shaped like Grimace and the Fry Guys. With the arrival of the Happy Meal, McDonaldland welcomed the Happy Meal gang. These anthropomorphic food items found in your kid's meal included a little bag of cookies. Originally, the gang was popular in store and in commercials, but even they couldn't avoid the pressure of caloric intake, and the cookies sacrificed themselves. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Here they are, the first and original. Today sought out by millions, but in 1986, the original Halloween pails, the orange bucket Happy Meals resembled that of a pumpkin in 3 varieties. McPumpkin, a traditional jack-o'-lantern face, McBoo, more like a ghost face, and McGoblin, the scariest of the 3. I suppose their media tie-in is simply Halloween. We'll go with it. As did McDonald's, bringing these back for almost annual appearances. However, it was the appearance that sometimes gets the most grief. Turning from 3 pumpkins to 1 jack-o'-lantern, 1 ghost, and 1 witch bucket wasn't such a bad deal, but besides the 1 year they became vinyl sacks, they will never do that again. By 1993, the bucket faces were more buffoonish, cartoony, and simply lost any spookiness. I guess that was just a hint of what was to come as the millennials had begun to infiltrate. Gen X likes their Halloween scary, am I right? By 1987, a deal was made between McDonald's and Disney, and no one was safe. There would be no dry spell for kids' meal toys, and it seemed like every new release was a Disney movie or park-related toy accompaniment, the first being Snow White. But being that this list would contain more Disney characters than anything else, we're going to leave that for another channel. Jim Henson and his Muppets were just as popular, and in 1987 brought the first of a handful of appearances by the incredibly loved new franchise, The Muppet Babies. If McDonald's had learned anything, it was wheels go far. That means toys with wheels were highly coveted. So Muppet Babies of Piggy, Fozzie, Gonzo, and Kermie, some of who could roll across a surface, were big for kids and collectors alike. And Fraggle Rock wouldn't be far behind, following in the trend. It would not be until 1997 that the Happy Meal would carry official Transformers toys in a nationwide campaign. But McDonald's wasn't in a hurry because they had what might be the most popular and collected non-McDonaldland Happy Meal toy prize ever. The Changeables. As 1987 was the end of my original playtime with toys and action figures, that didn't mean that I wouldn't pay for the current promotional product separately when running by the drive-thru if it meant I could get a novelty toy from my school locker. The Changeables were converting toys like Transformers, but in the awesome guise of the most popular branded menu items from the fast food juggernaut. Hotcakes as a robot? A McMuffin the Transformer? 1987's debut of The Changeables was popular enough for sequels in 1989, 1991, and even 2019. These are still picked up by adult collectors today. This is certainly a sad state of affairs. With a franchise as huge as Ghostbusters and their cartoon series being a hit, you'd think the first Happy Meal theme to this brand would be offering some world-class, cheap plastic when they got their chance in 1987. Well, it did, but not so much in toys as much as back-to-school supplies. Pencil sets, pencil cases, sharpeners, pencil topper, notepad, and a ruler. Yeah, these prizes for such an honored IP were lackluster, to say the least. Luckily, by the time the McNugget Buddies had landed in the box, you could still just buy the Happy Meal toys separately while munching on your quarter pounder with cheese or maybe the McDLT. So for future toy collectors like myself who wanted these Mr. Potato Head type toys themed after our own favorite nuggets of chicken parts, you could collect them all in December 1988. There were 10 pieces in all, and they hit it out of the park. Another set would arrive in 1993. These Halloween buddies are some of the most loved, and if you like these, check out Thomas of Thomas Goes Nostalgic when he turned a McDonald's playset into a haunted house for his McNugget buddies. Look up his channel, links in the description. Good prizes, wheeled toys make. Garfield had been in the top 10 characters for years and even had some lead-lined glasses offered at McDonald's as a premium. Oops, but 1989 brought the fat cat into the Happy Meal. Maybe too many cheeseburgers? Still, each of the 4 toys could careen across surfaces. You couldn't go wrong with skateboards and scooters. This was a time where Garfield comic books were a must-have gift for Christmas, and the famous orange feline's favorite phrase, "I hate Mondays," was in millions of cubicles around the country. Garfield fit right into the Happy Meal, just as long as he could fit into the box. As the experience for the latest Gen Xers began to fade in the 90s, it would overlap with the newest demographic, the next generation carving out their own experience, and the next big thing to make the meal happy for them. There are literally thousands of other Happy Meal toys and prizes in their 45-year history. This was just some tops from the first 10 years since debuting in 1979. There would be countless cartoons, TV, events, and movies to tie into and pull the customer in for the buy. And the box was always a fun distraction while lunching with family and friends. That is until somewhere in the 2000s when they went all minimalistic and each of the new iterations came with less and less activities and stories on the outside. I blame phones and McDonald's wanting to pay less for printing. Today, the Happy Meal makes news when it's for adult collectors. Besides the wild Masked Singer toys that were prizes recently for kids, most of the themes and toys go unnoticed and certainly not promoted because marketing to kids is evil. I don't know, I turned out all right. What about you? I don't know what the future holds when the push to eliminate plastic toys altogether becomes a reality. Soft toys, paper toys, or books may replace anything desirable, and then the Happy Meal as a whole might be extinct. Kind of like us Gen Xers. I hope you enjoyed the show and will come back and look for more great content. I want to thank you all for the like, pressing subscribe, and leaving a comment to discuss your memories of the Gen experience. Until next time.
Land of McDonald's.